any question, because I think it's important that we ask questions. Like she said, like the doctor said, it doesn't matter the journey, you know, the destination is important. There's a whole lot of ways to get to Southgate. And I always tell my daughter, you know, the world is bigger than Southgate. That's Krista, whatever. But anyway, there's a whole lot of ways to get to Southgate. You choose yours, you know, whether it be Uber, Taxify, also local taxis, your car, whatever. But you need to get there. You need to get there. And most times, as often as we think things will work out for us, it will not. There will always be a detour. You will always be thrown a curveball. And you know why? To teach you how to deal with things, you know. So if you're wired to get inspired, you need to be in it to win it. So any questions? Okay. Zing has a question. I'll walk to you, don't worry, by the way. Long walk to freedom, by the way.
Thanks for coming and telling us your story. I just wanted to find out what was, or where did the passion for water start? Maybe I missed out at the beginning or so. And I think from what I'm hearing, some of your turning points were like unseen. You know, getting to us without a matric certificate. Like, that's so Bosasa. That's like Bosasa level stuff. You know, it's like getting the lecturer post about an interview, more Bosasa. But I just wanted to find out where the water thing started. Do you know what I mean? Because I know there's a spring here, and you know, Eldos is Eldos, and Eldos obviously is pretty, was prettier before. But why water?
I agree. We have a spring here. Yeah, we have a spring here. She could have checked out our house.
So I do work in the spring in the jungle. We're busy working there. But my passion came when I started with zoology, because UJ at the time was purely aquatic. So if you would read UJ and zoology, lots of the different universities, like for instance, if you go to Wits, focuses more on mammals. If you go to Pretoria, they focus more on insects. So UJ at the time was more aquatic. So it was obviously way different to what I thought I would be doing. But it was just such an interesting field. And it was, you know, it's exciting to see if you look at a fish liver and you see that they say the same ailments that a human liver is. So I could have been a human doctor if I wasn't looking at the fish liver. So it was a deviation, but not that much, because fish are at the top of the food chain. They're very close to humans. So yeah, I think it was just because I was in that university at that time.
Any other questions? Young people? You know? Is there any other questions? Z, another one. Sheriff, right? Okay. Don't you want to ask a question? I see a whole lot of familiar faces, so if I call you by name, I'm sorry.
I'm going to ask mine while I can, while everybody's warming up. I've heard your academic track record, but luckily I read up about you as well, and you're interested in dance and a few other things, like you're actually a real person beside being a doctor. Can you tell us about that? Like, how does it balance you out, that kind of thing?
Being Eldos can dance. I'm not gonna dance.
So it's very difficult being a mother and a wife and a career woman and a student at the same time, and a daughter and a sister. But most weekends I hang out with my siblings, and we not always go out, but we like dancing and we like chilling, and it's just a way to relax and, you know, get your mind off things. So we really enjoy chilling.
I like that. I don't have brothers and sisters, so I'll chill with you guys. Okay, I think my question would be, what would be the one thing? What would be the one thing you would like to tell? Besides, I know you motivated already, right? But what if someone just walks in now and wants to become whatever they want to become? What's the one thing you want to tell them? Where do they start? Where do they start? Or how did you start doing this? Besides the fact that you always wanted to become a doctor. You know, you stay on your so you stay hustle. But anyway, nice money on that.
So I think your subjects that you take in high school is very important, and I think you need to be well informed about what's out there, because I think also the reason why I wanted to become a doctor, not only because I was told I had to become a doctor, but also because what else was there? You could either become a doctor or a lawyer or an accountant. And I think also in Eldos, a lot of the children are conditioned in that way, that, well, if I'm not going to be a doctor, if I'm not going to be an accountant, if I'm not going to be a lawyer, what then? What's the use I'm even going to study? So I think we need to keep our youth informed about the different aspects and the different opportunities, because there's so many different fields. I mean, one of the students in our department actually did her study on wedding venues, and she got a PhD in that. So it's not just, you know, you're looking at things from one point of view. It's just the fact that the people who are supposed to be informing you sometimes also haven't been informed, and I think that's the main problem, because people, I mean, I never heard about environmental management till I got to masters. So it tells you something about the school I came from, because all I knew is that I either had to become a doctor, accountant, a lawyer, and I think a lot of the problems start when you don't know. You don't know what the opportunities are.
Thank you very much, Dr. Leanne Sade Modley. A hand of applause, really. Okay, there's questions. Okay, I like it. And you just wanted to step in. I also wanted to say something. Pastor has something to ask us. This is Pastor Nathan Gilbert, everybody.
Something that dawned on me while you were motivating the crowd was through your difficult times. You went through so much. Who would you say was your icon, inspiration? Anybody that was you look up and actually, you know, like support, not just your parents, but in your times of loneliness, because you actually separated yourself from the crowd. Though people were partying, I mean, at a young age, you were motivated in a self-sustained way. But I just want to know, who was your icon, person that you always looked up?
My icon was SpongeBob. SpongeBob.
So it's difficult to say, because most of the time I didn't even know what I wanted to do. So I couldn't even say, you know, I'm looking up to this person because they're a strong person in my field. I didn't really have someone to look up to, because there was very few people that, you know, were in this field. But my driving factor, the thing that always motivated me, and I know you said not your parents, but my father always pushed me, and most of the things that I did was to make him proud. So eventually when I finished my doctorate, after he telling me get a doctorate, when I finished my doctorate, he said, now we're waiting for you to become a professor. So it was just, he always pushed me, and I always tried my best to make my father proud. So yeah, I didn't really have an icon.
Daddy issues. I love you, Daddy. Okay, our next question.
So, Leanne, just to touch on the question that you asked earlier, like your stories being motivating and encouraging, and it's actually disappointing to see that there's so few youngsters here that should actually listen to your story, because being a young person in Eldorado Park, you know what our community is made up of, they actually need this sort of inspiration and guidance. What are you doing, or what have you thought of doing to actually, like, how can I say, reach that audience in our community? Because, like, there's matriculants this year that were here this morning, they should have been here to hear this sort of your message. What have you done to, you know, try and reach them?
Beautiful question, difficult. My antwoord so geweest gaan. Kijk wanneer ik klap.
Thank you so much. So a lot of my colleagues also at work, professors, have asked me what am I doing to give back to the community. And I've tried contacting schools. I've tried, first of all, we do a summer school and a winter school with the environmentals at the sponsors. We also clean up the jungle, in the jungle, so we try to get the community involved. This year I actually put in a proposal for one of my students to actually study that system, so that we can actually get the work in extension and published, so that they can see it's not just, you know, Eldos, we actually also in the scientific journals. And then I've tried to reach out to the school many times, just allow us to come in and speak, let us inform, let us help, let us just make our presence known in the school, not to promote UJ, but for the, like I said, many children are ill-informed about what's actually happening at university. All we want to do is come and speak to the children. It's been almost 2 years that I've been trying, and I haven't gotten any feedback. That's why I was so happy when you invited me, because I thought, you know, here's my chance to actually get into Eldos and try and make a difference. So it's really been difficult, but we are trying.
Thank you very much, Leanne. Dr. Leanne. Okay, Daryl?
I've got a question.
Okay, Daryl has a question. Okay.
I don't think I need a mic. I think okay.
Are you okay? Alright, Daryl says it's okay with the artist name.
Leanne, you mentioned something about, you know, obviously on your journey there was lots of, I want you to speak about the racial tension. You mentioned that your culture or racial group became a challenge. People perceived you to be a certain stereotype. Can you tell us more about that? And was that turning point in your life where people that, when you enroll, people said, no, you don't belong here because you're a colored person. You're the only colored person in your faculty. And then the second question is, you mentioned your parents were quite significant in your growth this far. Tell us about what type of mother you are and what type of mother you're going to be, thanks to the foundation that they laid supporting you.
So, like I said, being a colored in this type of field, it's difficult because people already have this perception of how colored people are supposed to be. In the science faculty, I think we the stats from 2017. There was 11 colored people and the faculty has 2,000 students enrolled. So I think also colored people or colored children look at science and think, no man, I don't know chemistry, I don't know physics, neither do I, but I'm in science. There is a variety of fields. And especially in zoology, it's mostly white. It's changed a bit now. And for me, being in that type of space actually motivated me so much because I always had to prove something. I always had to prove that I'm not going to be the only one that fails because then they'll say, hey, this colored girl, I mean, what did you expect? I'm not going to be the only one that gets, low marks because they always look at you and expect that from you. So it was, for me, I would say it was more of a motivation than anything else because I always had to prove myself. And it's not right to always have to prove yourself, but at the end of the day, it was one of those things that actually pushed me to this height. Because if I had dropped out when I felt ready, they would have been like, well, what did you expect? She's colored. So it always pushed me to show them that whether you think this is how colors are, whether you think this is how they are, we're all the same. It's just your mindset. It doesn't matter what my skin color is. How I think is what makes me different. So it's not about being colored, it's not about being female, it's just my mindset.
Second question.
Oh, I'm not sure, I think I'm a good mother. I try my best to spend as much time with my child. And I hope to be the type of parent that my parents were. Obviously, it's my husband and I, we do the best that we can. We obviously want what's best for our child like any other parent. But I also want to motivate my child to, go against all odds. Don't do this because everyone is doing it or everyone is expecting it from you. Be the exception to the rule. Do what's different because everyone's expecting you to be a certain way. Be different and don't follow the crowd because everyone's doing that. Go your own way, and if you fail, it's okay. We all get back up and we just reroute because that's what I've been doing my whole life, rerouting.
Okay, another question. Daryl, ga je vinger afstaan. Another question from this young lady in front.
Hello,
question. How did it feel as a colored girl, all that negativity put in against you? How did it actually feel? Didn't you feel like you just wanted to lose in life, you just wanted to let go of everything?
Interesting question.
Thank you. So, as I said, it's not nice for someone to go through life knowing that you always need to prove yourself. Because for everyone else, I mean, if a white boy failed, it was okay. But if I failed, it would be like, I mean, she's covered. The thing is, it was not a good thing at the time. But I'm so glad it happened. I'm so glad that they gave me that opportunity to prove them wrong. Because if it wasn't for that, I probably would have dropped out, because I was like, you know, no one's expecting me to finish this degree. So it helped me so much, and I'm so glad that I was at that point in my life, in that university, in that faculty, in that department, in that class. I had to be there because it helped me so much in being the person that I am today. So a lot of times you'll face adversities, you'll face people thinking, oh, you know, especially because you're covered. And even at work, I'm the only covered academic in our department. And people are like, wow, you were pregnant and you did this and you did, you know, we never expected it. Because that's how people see colored people. You expected me now to drop my pension because I was pregnant. I continued doing it just because you expected me not to do it. So I think having that type of adversity and negativity just pushes you. It just pushes you, just wants you, makes you want to become a better person.
Okay, we have another question.
Okay, this is not a question really, it's more encouragement. I think being colored, you have a work cut out for you. You do. And listening to you and all the negativity that has come towards you, like you say, you've been trying to work within the community, you've been trying, you know, to get people interested. So yeah, and if you persevere, I think a whole lot of others can do that. But that's why I'm saying you have your work cut out for you. You should actually now just keep trying harder and yet you're proud of it. Very proud of it.
Thank you very much, Mom. A warm round of applause for Dr. Sade Modley. I think it is important for us to understand that when we need change, change starts with you. It starts with you. Whatever you want to see in life, achieve in life, it needs to start with you.